Hello and welcome back to another VOD review. Today we're going to be doing a VOD review of main tank player KnK, who I believe said that they are 3400 peak tank player and that this is a 3300 SR game. So let's hop in and see how they do. Okay, so let's go back to the beginning. I'm just going to point out some things off the bat. So as ball, one of the you have to understand your role when you're playing ball, because he's not like any other main tank. Even Winston, he's different from Winston as well, who is still a dive tank, but you play him very differently. So ball, because of his incredibly high mobility and the fact that all of his utility comes from CCs, crowd control, which is his boop, his pile drive. Because of that, and also most of his damage comes from that as well. You really need to be able to make efficient use of every grapple and every slam, and also you need to be really good at picking out which targets are going to be vulnerable on the enemy team. So here, so you actually don't know the composition of the enemy team yet. I would actually stick around and wait 10 more seconds here, and then press tab and look at the enemy team comp here. Just to see what you're up against, because you at this point you see the hog, but you have no idea, right? You have no idea if there's you don't know who the other tank is. You don't know if they have DPS and supports with high CC, right? So if you just roll in here and say that they have like Kree, Zen, or sorry, Kree, Brig, yeah, and a Zen, yeah, and let's say, I don't know, a junk or something, right? And you don't know that, and you roll in and you say you get trapped, you're dead. You get shield bashed, you're dead. You get flashbanged, you're dead. You get hooked, you're dead, right? Any of those abilities, if you get hit with them, currently with the high damage output, you will just melt immediately, and the likelihood that you're going to get chained with multiple CCs is also really high. So going in blind like this is always really risky. So I also want to point out a couple of things here. So you use one grapple, two grapples, slam, three grapples, and so far you haven't booped or slammed anyone, right? So I want you to get more efficient with the usage of your cooldowns. Here I spotted a really big mistake here. So here you see the Ana as you come up the stairs, right? And then you notice the Widow. You even do a double take back at the Ana. So you're like deciding right now, who should I attack? And you decide to attack the Widow. This is a very, very big mistake. Why? Because, and this is one of those things where if you had pressed tab earlier just to figure out the team comp of this game, right? You're looking at, enemy ball and a hog are not really dive targets, are not really targets that you can contest by yourself very easily. Pharmacy, obviously, unless they're making some kind of mistake, you're never gonna get confirmed kills on them either. So it really comes down to the Ana and the Widow. Now, as fortune would have it, you took a good flank getting here, and you actually end up with an opportunity to dive on either of these players, right? And you choose to go for the Widow. You should definitely go for the Ana here, because just think about the peel that they can do for each other, right? So if you go for the Ana, first, the Widow's scoped in. She's unlikely to even notice that you're actually on her Ana. But even if she does, the best she can do is turn around and try to shoot you, right? And you're gonna be in ball form mostly, so she's just gonna be doing, you know, little body shots, and you know it takes her, you know, what, like five body shots to kill you if you don't even use your shields, and those have to be fully charged. You know, so there's nothing that Widow can do here to save her Ana. On the other hand, if you go for the Widow, the Ana can turn around, sleep you, call for backup. The Pharah is right here. You know, a Hog or Ball can come over. And then at the end of the sleep, you know, the Widow can headshot you. The Ana can nade you, right? So then that becomes a much more difficult situation for you to actually get confirmed kills. So here, you really should have gone for the Ana. In fact, what I would have done personally, so I've been getting a lot of requests in VOD reviews from players asking me, you know, what would you have done, right? So I would have actually just grappled right here, this little thing, this little doorway, boop the Ana off, and then like hold the grapple on, and then come back with another fireball, like just real quick, smack that Widow into the corner and just shoot her, and you're gonna kill her most likely. Or, you know, boop the Ana off. Like, see, the thing about if you boop the Ana off, she can't sleep or nade you, right? So at that point, the Widow is a free kill. Alternatively, I would have booped the Ana off and slammed here, and then use the gun. And the thing is, so that it really comes down to the skill level of the Ana. At 3400 at 3300 SR, it's a very high likelihood she's gonna sleep you. So at that is risky, because like I said, the other players are here, and if Ana calls and comms for them to focus you while you're slept, it's almost always a guaranteed kill. So, but no matter what, you should have disrupted the Ana first before going for the kill on the Widow here. And that's something that you just need to recognize as a, you know, just as a, I guess, what would that even fall under? Yeah, target prioritization. So here, you're gonna go for the Widow, and yeah, pretty much exactly as I predicted. You get slept headshot. You're probably gonna get naded here and get killed. Yeah, naded and killed. Okay, yeah, so, yeah, like I said, very big mistake, because this is gonna result in a team fight loss for your team. See? Yeah, and that is a team fight loss. Now imagine if you had booped the Ana down, damaged her, killed the Widow in the back line, and then come back and just kept bothering the Ana, right? That provides so much more space and utility for your team. Okay, so in second... So this is the third team fight now. We're on 3 team fights. We're a minute and a half in, 20 seconds in. Good attempt at the slam, but you slammed a little bit early actually, and you didn't get the Widow. You only got the Mercy. Okay, yeah, so again, I have some issues with target prioritization here, because you're going after a Hog who has a Valking Mercy healing him, and who hasn't even used his breather or his hook. Right, you're never gonna win that fight. In fact, there's not even the only like good thing that can even be said about that is that you're preventing the Hog from using his cooldowns on your other teammates. But even then, that's not really an efficient use of your time on ball. From here, you should have continued going after the Widow there instead of the Mercy. Like, I get that you slammed the Mercy and the Widow actually evaded it, so you... Right? But, you know the Ana set up on the other side. And Mercy gets her health back. You know, she starts healing herself by default. And she's got the Pharah to run away to. So you're never going to get a confirmed kill on her. If you had like a sniper with you and you could call for that, maybe, you know, maybe you'd get that kill. But you should have gone for the Widow here. In fact, what I would have done... is I would have stayed up there, gone for the Widow. She would have had to run to the Mega Health Pack. Which, by the way, you can just roll past her and steal it if you can manage to do that. And then, likely, I mean, it's a 1v1 duel against the Widow. Very high chance that you would have killed her and ended up in a good position back here, right? So you would have ended up, you know, either in that room or somewhere around here. From that point, you can pressure the point, or you can look for other targets. So you, right, so then you see the Ana right up there, and then you go, oh, okay. From here, the oh, I'm sorry. I think I said the Mercy was Valking earlier, but she's not. She's just, yeah. But in any case, she's healing the Hog. Yeah, and then from here, you could, you know, swing and then slam their supports, and that opens up a lot of space for your team to push in. So that's the kind of target prioritization that you should try to, you know, be getting on ball. So unfortunately you die here. Your team is still taking the fight. Your DPS are, you know, getting some kills, but yeah, you're not going to win this because you're already down your main tank. Okay, again with target prioritization here, I take issue with this because so you come out of spawn. Your team is currently in the process of getting staggered, right? So you right here, you can't see the enemy team, but you can see your team. There's 3 people up here. With you, that's 4. If you've been watching the kill feed during your spawn time, which you absolutely should be, you would know that, you know, there's X number of, yeah, they're down 1 player. So it's if once you're in, it's currently a 3v5. Once you're in, it's a 4v5. So very unlikely chance that you're going to win this team fight. So you should either spend this time getting behind the team to set up like a set play for next fight, or you should be calling to your team to get out or die, right? You should recognize that this is not a winnable team fight. That being said, here, there is something you could have done to potentially change the course of the team fight here. So here you see a nano boosted enemy Hog, and you see your Mercy and your Hanzo, right? Is that a Hanzo? Yeah, that's a Hanzo. Okay, so their Hog is going after your Mercy. Oh god, that's a really annoying sound. Okay, their Hog is going after your Mercy, which is good. That's good target prioritization from him. You have an opportunity here to peel for your Mercy by disrupting that Hog, by booping him, pile driving him, whatever, right? And I think you actually try to do that. Unfortunately, you do it after the Mercy is already dead. So, yeah, you stand here shooting at him at this distance. Well, you're shooting at the mines that are, you know, just clearing up. At this distance, the guns don't do anything to, especially to a nano boosted Hog. You're not doing anything to him. You're just tickling him for a couple damage points. So I think you did this because you were scared of the mines. But as a tank player, you should recognize that you can run through several mines without dying. And right now, that's what's more important than not taking damage, is saving these 2 players and getting them out in order to take a team fight faster than, you know, in order to save time, right? Because the Tracer, she can be in the back line and survive, or she can get out. So if you can get these 2 out, then, you know, you can take a team fight as soon as these people are back, right? As soon as your Hog and your Moira are back. So here, I would have grappled the rock, and then booped the Hog around, like swung around it a couple times, zoned the Hog off of that, and then, yeah, and then when the Pharah comes down and you're swinging around, instead of going after the Hog, who is, you know, not gonna die because he's still got that little nano on him and everything, you should have, after swinging around here and booping the hog a couple times, you can just pop up right in front of where the Pharah is ulting and just make her kill herself here. You just stand right here and just come out of ball form, shoot her, and then that plus the splash from the rockets will just kill her before it kills you. And then at that point, you know, you're actually not in that bad of a situation. You would have, if your Mercy stayed up, you'd have Mercy, Hanzo, you, Tracer versus Mercy, Hog, and Ana. Now that's winnable, right? At that point, you should go up and try to displace this Ana, because the Tracer and the Hanzo and the Mercy can easily take care of the Hog. Alright, so target part, but instead you go for the Hog and you die to the ulting Pharah. And your Tracer actually almost got a tick, which is funny, but... And she's using her... Your team isn't committing ults to this. And your Moira just got picked again. And you should not be going in here. Another pod drive that doesn't do anything. And you're gonna get out. And your Mercy's dead. So here you guys are hard staggering. Like this is a stagger. This is you're trickling in at a level that would, you know, be typically seen in a game that's like gold or silver. You know, this is not like at some point one of you on the team, and if it's not someone else, then it has to be you, has to use the comms and say, hey, look, we're getting staggered, we're trickling in, we just need to group up for a team fight. I always say that main tank and main support are the roles that need to be most active in voice comms. And if you're you know, if no one else is doing it on your team in a ladder game, you have to be the one to make that call. That was okay. So that was a good swing. I don't know why you didn't slam when you had the perfect opportunity to. Actually, I would have just slammed and committed the minefield here. Or actually, yeah, probably better to hold the minefield for a point. I would have slammed and used adaptive shield here. You got 4 players to proc the shields. And you could probably have killed that Hanzo with the Tracer and you. It doesn't even matter if the Mercy switches the target to the Hanzo, he would just die there. Also, another thing that was a little strange is you actually have your adaptive shield up and your slam up, and you use neither of them. So right here, look, you die before you use your shield. So again, your cooldown usage seems to me like you're not really familiar with ball just yet. I'm not sure how much time you have on ball, but just from the general usage of your abilities and just the type of plays that you've been doing, it doesn't seem like you're aware or familiar with how ball is supposed to be played. So I think for you, I would recommend that you start off by watching some... Oh my god, that's annoying. Yeah, so I would start by watching some VODs of good ball players like Yeetle or Ball Overwatch, and just looking at how they approach the game as a ball player, and sort of trying to internalize and soak up all that knowledge, because right now it looks like you're really lost. It looks like you don't know how to play ball at all. And again, I don't want you to take that in a derogatory way, because not everyone knows how to play every character. I personally don't play D.Va. But could I learn her? Absolutely. Yeah. It would probably just take, you know, a few weeks of grinding to get down the, you know, the fundamentals of D.Va play. But if that became if I was like on a team or something and they required me to play D.Va, that's something that I would just have to do. And if you, since Ball is the strongest tank right now, absolutely understandable that you'd want to learn him. And I think it's great that you want to learn him, and I think that's just yeah, that's what you got to do. Is you got to watch the VODs, figure out you know, like set plays and just like little tricks like little mechanical tricks for ball, and I think you're going to be in a lot better spot. So here you got their hog and you lost the player. I didn't see. Yeah, I think you lost. Yeah, so that's actually a good trade. Hanzo dies here. That minefield. I don't know about that minefield. Okay, the Mercy just yeeted herself into the minefield. That's a good boop. Okay, and your team helps clean up. So, the reason I have an issue with this minefield is because you put it down at a time when, like, you didn't pause to assess the situation at all. Like, so from your perspective right here, you can't see any of their team, right? So we can see it in the replay through the wall, but you can't see anyone. So you probably know that the hog is out here. Yeah, so I guess you're just mining this off so hog can't get on point. But is that really a valuable use of, like, you can just walk around, right? Is that it? And then you don't know, and then Pharah and Mercy are never gonna, you know, go into the minefield unless they're suicidal. Ana's been on this high ground the entire game. Makes it a little bit harder for the ball to roll around on point, I guess. But yeah, not exactly the highest value ult. What I would have done is I would have, like, so that Mercy res the hog, by the way. I would have either tried to, when the hog died, I would have watched for, like, honestly, you don't even have to watch for it. Just roll over to where he died, press Q, and just go to point, because then that completely denies the res. Alternatively, you can grapple up here, slam the Ana and mine, and very, very high probability that you'll kill her. Even if you don't kill her, she's gonna have to jump off and be displaced down here. So that would, both of those would have been better uses of the minefield than that. Now, luckily for you, the Mercy actually just, like, look right here, right here. She's, I think, is she even Valking? I think she just suicides. No, she's, is she Valking? No, she's not Valking. Yeah, so the Mercy just decides to do that. The hog is trying to fight your Kree out there. Alright, so those are your first 3 limbs of the game. Let me just say that, by the way. The Mercy, the ball, and the Pharah are your first 3 limbs. Look at the time. It took you 4 minutes to get 3 limbs, right? I can't see the damage stats, but I'd be willing to bet you have under 1,000 damage right now. So yeah, so from what I've seen of your ball play, I would say that you really have to figure out how to get better value on the ball, because right now you're not getting that much value for your team. Again, here, target prioritization, there's no point shooting or doing anything to that hog while the Ana is still alive. So you're just feeding the Ana ult charge, and the hog is never going to die. So you should just ignore the hog and go straight for the Ana here. Also, another little trick I saw, I was going to point this out at the end, but I'll start pointing out examples now, is you're way too over-reliant on your gun as ball. The gun on as ball is actually the weakest part of his kit, and it's used for cleaning up kills. It's not used for fighting or for opening up anything, right? So so here you fail to boop the Ana, but here you can already, when you tickle her, you know she's already half health. Just roll off here and slam her and she dies instantly. But you stay here and you shoot at her, and that allows her to sleep you. Now, it doesn't matter in the end because the Tracer's there, but again, that's just one of those things that if this was a proper, like, if there were more enemy players live, that could get really dicey for you. Yeah, like right there, you almost died anyway because there was just a Hanzo left alive. Yeah, big mistake by their Hanzo to ult there. It's a good attempt at trying to interrupt that the res. And again, you're not really doing anything for your team during that team fight. Like, you tickled the Ana a little bit, you tickled the Hog a little bit, you did not kill anyone. You didn't kill the Mercy, you didn't kill the Ana, you didn't kill the Hog, you didn't kill the Hanzo or the Pharah, right? When people are coming up this back route, it's like boop central. Like, you can just grapple right here and on this thing, and just swing around and just knock everyone off. So that Ana could easily die. Pharah and Mercy obviously aren't going to die unless they don't have their cooldowns up. But that's higher value than what you're doing here, which is reloading and spraying at distant targets with the little guns. Extremely poor usage of minefields. So also another little thing that I want to point out is another issue with target prioritization that I have here. So when you're over here, now one of the things that's afforded to you by your team composition is that everyone can actually get over here almost, except for, you know, the Kree. So you actually have 2 people follow you over here, so you have opportunities to set up some pretty unique plays, right? You can actually pressure the team from like, you know, most teams are confined to going up that staircase or main, but you have a lot more options here. So right now you should be like brainstorming how you want to take this team fight. Like, you could have Diva and Kree push up in one direction. You could, and then you, Mercy, and Tracer could come from the other, you know. And then the issue I have here with your target prioritization is that you see the ball trying to go for your Mercy, and you do peel for it, which is good, but you hear the Hog hook on this side, and you start shooting, and you're still shooting the ball. Okay, so the ball has used his grapple. He hasn't used slam, but he's not, you know, there's, your Mercy's in the air, your Tracer is Tracer, and your ball, so he's not a threat right now. He's already used the cooldowns that make him a threat. He's even used Adaptive Shield. He's not a threat. The threat is the Hog right here. Because if the Hog gets a Miracle Hook on your Tracer or your Mercy, or God forbid, your Mercy, that's a team fight loss. Right? The Tracer actually doesn't really matter because you can res it, but then you lose res. So that still sucks. But if he hooks your Mercy, that's a team fight loss. So you should right now immediately whip around and start pressuring this Hog and forcing him out. There's a damage boosted Tracer that you could do it with, so it would be very simple for you to do that, but instead you just waste your entire time taking the shields off of the enemy ball. And again, shields don't give you ult charge, and also you already have your ult, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, what I would have done was boop the ball, you know, or boop the Hog, roll off, slam him, and shoot him, and then, you know, that provides so much. Like, first it gets, you know, actually it likely would have led to a confirmed kill on the Hog because you have a damage boosted Tracer with you. And then look at this, your team's on point. So the Ana and the Brig are too preoccupied helping him. The Hanzo is likely to start shooting you, but that's not a big deal because you have your Mercy with you. And then the Krees are dueling. I think that's Kree. That looks really weird. Yeah. So this is actually a favorable team fight. In fact, if you just killed that Hog and then got on to point real quick, your Moira is overextended, but you know, it's certainly not. If she has her fade up, she can easily get out. And then, you know, you got both tanks, your Moira, your Tracer, and your Mercy on point. McCrees are dueling. It really comes down to who wins that But either way, even if you just did that and you know, sort of warded these guys off the point or killed them, these two from up here, what are they gonna do? I mean, they can poke away at you, sure, and your diva could just, you know, sit there matrixing. But they don't really have the point presence to jump down and contest. Because if a Hanzo or a Kree jumps down in front of Ball Diva with, you know, one or two of your supports up, that's, you know, they're just staggering themselves basically. So you probably would have gotten at least 2 ticks, likely the entire point there, if things had gone that way. I think, okay, so now you ignore the hog again. I think you're trying to go for the Kree. Again, I'm not exactly sure why you're ulting here. Because yeah, there's no one in the mine area. You also didn't put it close enough to the front that it blocks the team from still, you know, contesting on the corners. And also, there's 2 vulnerable supports here. The Brig is not with the Ana as she should be. So if you'd recognized that, you could have actually just swung in, mined here, like mined right around here, and slammed, and that Ana would very likely have died here. Okay, but you use the mines again. Over alliance on the gun, because you have your slam and now you use it. You're not using your grapple at all. And you're gonna die here, yeah. So let's look at the impact you had on this team fight. You took the adaptive shields off a Ball, you ignored a hog, you tried to kill a Kree who then was already dead, you jumped down to point and used mines on nobody, didn't grapple or slam anyone, tickled the Ana with your guns and died, right? So this is what I mean when I say that it looks like you're just not familiar or comfortable with the ball pick. So I think there's a lot of work that needs to be done here. Just a lot of the basics that need to be covered. Okay, so you see a damaged Hanzo. Okay. You spend about 10 seconds and waste a slam trying to get up there when, you know... Yeah, so for example, if you want to slam that high ground, this high ground, or this high ground, it's very easy. You just grapple like that corner or that corner from main, and you just roll right through, and you come up, then you slam right here. Or right here, or over there, you know, anywhere. But instead you spend 10 seconds trying to climb this, and then you waste your slam on Hanzo, where you do probably about 70 damage to him. Okay, good kill on the soldier, and it's good that you're pressuring point here. But again, another low impact grapple, you just boop the ball and get out. So here, you could have done so much more, right? So here, I would have probably picked one of these things to grapple on and then swung around it a couple times. You would have hit the hog for sure, you would have hit the ball for sure. Probably could have hit the hog twice, right? And this is another thing that ties into the over-reliance on the guns, like I said, is your boops do way more damage than your guns. You have to know that if you're going to be a ball player. Your gun, if you stand at point blank range and empty your mag into someone, it does 144 damage, okay? 3 boops is 150 damage, and you can do 3 boops in the span, you know, in a blink of an eye. So, hell, you can get 6 boops. If you roll through a team, that's 6 boops, is 300 damage instantaneously, right? So your boop is your primary source of damage, not your gun. But you have booped almost nobody this entire game. I think you've booped like maybe 3 people this entire game. So here, you know, I would have swung around on one of these pillars for a while, booped, try to get as many boops, and then, you know, like on the part of the swing where you're over here, just roll straight down here, pick up the Mega, and then go right back into the fight. Yeah, and again, you're out of ball form. I don't know why. The guns don't really do anything, especially at that distance. You're not doing anything. You're doing like literally 1, 2, 3 damage. Another failed opportunity, like a missed opportunity to use the slam, because when you actually roll in, you use the little table at the back to get. See, like right there, you can just, or the whole hog pushes you up. You can slam and, you know, try to screw up the hog's aim when he's whole hogging. And again, you're just using the guns, but the guns don't really do anything here. I think you're trying to slam the, yeah. And again, you're shooting the soldier when you could have amply slammed, meleeed, and then when he tried to run down the stairs, poke at him, and then roll through with your boop and finish him, right? And then even here, actually, you fail to recognize that soldier's half health. If you just jump forward and slam here, which you do have, your slam is up, you would just kill him right here. But you stand there shooting at him, and he gets away. And then you choose to slam there, and you hit nothing. So, very unfortunate. And you guys almost capped there, so that's really unfortunate. And again, you're not doing anything with the guns there. Like, I wouldn't even stand there. And you have your ult, so there's no point doing that. You're just feeding minuscule amounts of ult charge to their supports. And now you're staring down the corridor at a hog and a soldier. That's good. That's an alright slam. You catch the Hanzo at the edge of it. It's just, you know, a very minimal amount of damage. And then you mine. I think that was a better use of minefield than before. But again, look how fast they cleared your mines out already. I think that was the best hard engage that you've done so far this game, but it still was not enough. And unfortunately, you guys are not going to cap here. And I think you had ample opportunity to actually finish this point, because when you were doing this, if you'd killed the soldier and then rolled through here and hit the Ana, right? That Ana's dead. In fact, that Ana probably actually already died to your DP. It will die to your DPS anyway. But you do that, and then you're on point. You know, you can call to focus the Hanzo. Yeah, and the fight is much. Actually, probably unlikely that you would have won anyway, just because your D.Va's dead. But you would have put in a much better attempt than how it ended up turning out, which is the soldier didn't die, you slammed nothing, and then you got out. Like I said, the guns don't really do anything there. You already have your ult. Going in there was the best hard engage we've seen, but this was also a mistake, because if that hog was not, because it never rely on your opponents being bad, right? So the hog didn't hook you, and which is why you could actually boop him off and then slam the point. If he had hooked you, you would have died here, because there's a brig here, there's an Ana here. You would get shield bash, slept, naded, whatever. So you're relying on the enemy being bad rather than yourself being good. Yeah, and again, not the best uses of slam and minefield, because there was actually no one in that minefield by the time you placed it. The Hanzo used his little leap to get out. And the soldier is just going to clean you guys up. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look on defense. Okay, so you're going to play the Rein on defense. your Ashe got a nice pick. Okay, your team is not positioned very well here, but not really anything you can do about that. But you should be aware of this though. Like your Zarya is kind of on the point because she is probably aware of the ball. Your Ana should be up on high ground somewhere, or next to you, or next to the Mercy. In fact, your Ana's probably going to be killed or disrupted by that ball in a second. And also, you're shielding. You keep standing behind here, which is actually a good thing. I always say that you should use hard cover to play, not just and use a shield as a resource. However, your Ashe is very, very vulnerable if you're just going to be over here swinging, right? So if you're going to do that, you should call and comms for your Ashe and Mercy to like be up here, or like over here, or like even on that high ground, or on top of the roof over there. Right, that way they could still do their thing. They still have full value, right? Because Ashe can be shooting from up there, Mercy can fly around healing, and then you can hold the choke. Because here you're at really high risk of losing your Ashe if you just misplace your shield for a second. Okay, good job not overextending. You fire striked into a reflecting Genji there. And your Mercy got picked by the Hanzo. So here you should immediately be calling to back up to point. And all of you need to get back up onto point. You either need to be on point. This is not a bad place to hold. This little walled in area right here. It is kind of susceptible to ball though, because he can come in from above and slam and just generally cause mayhem. Or you can hold kind of in this side, like here, with you sticking out onto the point, you know, occasionally. But you're down 2 players now, so you should be calling to back up. But you're staying at the choke, so you and Zarya are gonna die here. Yeah, and actually your Ana gets picked by the Hanzo. Hanzo's popping off. Yeah, and then nothing you can do. Probably would have been better than charging here. Would just be to stand right here, recharge your shield, and then hop onto point and put your shield up and just burn some time off the clock at least, you know? Probably have cost them like 10 seconds or something. They have Nano Blade, but their Genji's not blading actually. Okay, unfortunate. Yeah, don't charge into a whole hog. So, actually, there's several things you could have done very differently here. So here, you're pushed up way too far. You should not leave this where you are right here. But you decide to push up, which is very dangerous here. Because that Ana can nade you, she can sleep you. If she hits either, you're dead. You're guaranteed dead. And now they just nanoed the Genji, which after first point, how many kills he got, you're immediately thinking, shit, they're nanoblading, right? So here, I would have tried to go for a pin on the Genji just so that you can try to take him out of the fight. Yeah, I think you had ample opportunity to pin him there. And then here, the whole hog pushes you out, so you're actually in a good spot here. If you time it properly, like right here, you can actually kill him with your pin before his whole hog pushes you back. But you kind of botched the timing. I think that's what you were trying to do. But you did it too late, and the whole hog is already pushing you back. So you end up just dying there. And again, you're down one of your supports now. There's the late blade that you attempt to pin and miss. You're gonna die to those mines. Yeah, you stood too deep in there. Okay, and you guys turned around, you held. Your DPS popped off. Let's take a look at when you got the shatter here. Yeah, you actually missed your second swing on the ball because you were aiming too low. If you had hit him, you would have gotten your shatter here, and then when he bladed, you could just shatter him as he dashes down, and then that's always a fair trade. Is shattering Genji, especially an nano-bladed Genji. Luckily, the blade was actually pretty insignificant anyway, so they're wasting ults here. Okay, you lost your tracer, so you're down one. This should be a free shatter, remember. Against their team comp, this is a free shatter. They have nothing that can block it. They have ball and hog, right? So you shouldn't let them push freely up here. The only way you can mess up your shatter is if you get hooked in the middle of your animation here. Okay, nice graph. I would have just maintained the high ground position. Your team can take care of the ball, so like you can't even reliably go after ball on as Reinhardt, right? So there's no point trying to get over there. And it's good that you held the shatter and didn't shatter the graph, because that would have been a complete waste to shatter. And now here you have, ooh, it's a pretty good opportunity there to have shatter 3 people. You're looking at the ball. Okay, yeah, that's acceptable use of shatter. Oh, that's really unfortunate that the Ana got the nade off. Yeah, I don't have issues with that shatter though. Yeah, a lot of people think, it's not worth shattering or grabbing unless I get like 5-6 people. Not true at all. If you can confirm a single kill with shatter or grab, it's worth it. Unfortunate. I don't think you quite realize the extent of the hammer hitbox there. And again, you're too deep in this minefield. Yeah, like I get that you want to swing in the like the half second you have before the mines activate and get rid of as many of those, but you want to do it from the edge of the minefield, not in the middle, because when those mines come online, you're just gonna get booped around and eat all the mines up. Yeah, so actually you dying there is really bad for your team. It should still be winnable though. Absolutely, for 2CP, it is winnable. Yeah, so I don't know why you swapped to Winston here. I am curious to see what you're thinking here. If you thought this was a stall scenario, which it is not, your team has handily won this, by the way. In 2CP, you need to wipe, like your whole team needs to get wiped all at once if they're even going to try to cap. But if you're going to stall, Ball is way better at stalling. So I'm hoping that you swap to Winston because you recognize the need for vertical mobility over Reinhardt here. No, so you won the team fight. Ashe got picked and rezzed. One thing as well, I can tell from when you were playing ball and now that you're playing Winston, is that you're not communicating with your team about the plays that you're gonna make, which you really need to do. Especially double bubble, which is, you know, Winston's Zarya. You need to be talking to your Zarya and your supports constantly. Otherwise, what just happened is gonna happen. Your Zarya is gonna get caught out, or you're gonna get caught out. Yeah, and now, like, they're killing your team really slowly, so it's not that bad. Oh, that Winston booped you out into the high noon. Okay, now it gets really dicey because, yeah, now they're starting to kill you quickly. You still have plenty of stall potential here, and again, that's just understanding the map, understanding the rules of the gameplay for each mode. Your team has plenty of stall capability here. You're still in this. It's not over. But you need to be able to recognize what you're going to need to do, right? So you just died. Right now, I'd be thinking really hard. Like, I would be like, as soon as I died, I would be like, okay, what does my team need to do right now? Is this winnable? Is this holdable? You have a minute 22 on the clock, right? Your DPS are both up. Everyone else is dead, right? You lost your Zarya first, so she's going to be first coming out of spawn. Then you lost your supports, so they're going to be coming out of spawn next, then you, right? So, and they don't have any percentage point on the point. So right now what you need to do is call for your DPS to stay alive as long as possible. So for your Ashe, that would mean she's in a decent position right there. She just needs to stay back there and not die. And that, even if that means hiding and not taking shots, your Tracer needs to just do her Tracer thing and use hard cover and dance around the point. And here, what you need to say is, you need to use the percentage as a resource here, the point percentage. So in this situation, you're gonna have to. I would say that we're gonna give up 2 ticks. I would call that off the bat. I'd say, okay, we're gonna give up 2 ticks. Tracer, try to make those 2 ticks as slow as possible while while trying to stay alive as best you can. That's actually a pretty decent proposition for her because the only CC they have right now in their comp is McCree, and he's up here. So let's see what happens here. So you died, right? So your support's coming out. Unfortunately, both your DPS die. So now it's really bad. You should have... And now this is a true stall situation. Wait, why isn't your Zarya spawned yet? I thought she died early. Okay, maybe I was wrong there. You need to swap the ball here, dude. Winston is not the pick. Like, I get that you have half your ult. That doesn't matter at all. Because you're not gonna get 40% of your ult 1v6 in, you know, like the 5 or 6 seconds that you might last on point. So you need to swap the ball here. Absolutely need to swap the ball. Also need to call for your Mercy to stay in spawn here, because you need to give up ticks and regroup as many players as you can for a recontest. So I would have, at this point, since you lost your DPS, you need to like wait till like you're like here, and then go in with like, I think you probably have 4 players at that point. But you're on ball, and you're gonna die instantly. Yeah, you're gonna get melted, dude. They have Hanzo. Your other tank went ball, which is good, but he's not on the point, so it's unfortunate. You swapped the D.Va. Okay, so the tanks in order of best to worst stall is ball, then situationally D.Va or Reinhardt. Yeah, actually I don't mind the D.Va pick here. I think it might have been a little bit better to go Reinhardt. Yeah, just because D.Va is for when you need to like use your boosters to like absolutely get back to the point faster. Rein's better if you know you have time to get onto the point, because he can actually survive quite a bit longer. Especially if you have a support alt up or anything like that. Actually, in this case, maybe not. Yeah, I don't mind the D.Va pick here. Because you can eat both their DPS and their BAPs. Like all their spam damage and stuff. Okay, nice attempt on the BAP. Yeah, and you guys are stabilizing. Yeah, that's a huge pick. Now they're ulting though. You needed your Lucio to use beat right there. Yeah, your Lucio kind of fucked up. Yeah, and that's gonna be a loss. Yeah, so your Rein play looks a lot better than your ball play. You look more comfortable on Rein. Like, you know how to play him, like both mechanically and like what you should be doing. For your ball, I would definitely watch some ball VODs. Also, feel free to ask me any questions, or like if you want to do live coaching, you can try to do live coaching, because you look really, really, really lost on the ball. I think there's lots of work that needs to be done in terms of just understanding what you're supposed to be doing on the ball. Okay, so I hope that this helped, and yeah, feel free to reach out for more help.